Good night, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to day 55 of our 60-day run to share information to help somebody change what is going on in their lives today. My name is Wayne Wilson. I am your host tonight, and it is my pleasure to host. I just want to share with you that you are about to receive information from a gentleman by the name of Mr. Kester Beale, or he's affectionately known to us as Kes B. Kes is a qualified personal tax consultant with over 30 years experience. He is presently in the position of a DC power engineer with a telecommunication company. His major hobby, ladies and gentlemen, and you will see why the passion comes out when we do something that we like, is to present on the One Academy. And for those of you who are here for the first time tonight, I welcome you. You will understand further as we go along. So before, I would just like to let everybody know, some of you may need to get pen and paper to take some notes, but I want to hand over the platform now to Mr. Kester Beale. Kester, are you ready for us? We are ready for you.
Yes, Wayne, I'm ready.
Go right ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you. Greetings all, wherever in the world you may be. Financial knowledge, financial learning. This is education to improve, and it's designed to hit you right here in your wallet. Why are some people, or I should actually say, why is there the proverbial 1% who gets it and the remainder who doesn't? It's simply because of education. What you have learned, what you are learning, and what you continue to learn. The information contained herein and dispensed is not designed to be a source of financial information, nor should it be construed as such. OneLife is not an investment company. The images and video material in this presentation are the property of their respective owners. What is money? Money, by many, is thought to be the paper in your wallet. Money is literally a store of value, where your value can be maintained after you have provided it in terms of labor. Anything that stores your value is money. Inflation, therefore, would be incapable of reaching and deteriorating money. Money is what you and I agree it is. Barter. You want a house? I have a number of cars that we can agree would be a fair trade. And the real secret in that barter transaction is while value was traded, once it is not quantified in terms of money, you benefit. And this is why barter was stopped. At least barter, as we are told, barter is done. Because if you had cement and I had a cow to exchange, The authorities might take a few bags of your semen, but what can they take from the cow unless the cow is butchered? Tax is difficult to quantify unless there's currency involved. Real money is your time and effort. And in this day and age, in OneLife, it is the one. So let's dive into the missing classes. Linear income versus leverage income. Which would you prefer? Your income to be linear or to be leveraged? Better yet, leverage and residual. The One Academy, OneLife, make sure that you think, understand your options, understand that your true worth is adding value in any given situation. With linear income, employee, you and your job create income. You trade time for currency, for dollars. You have absolutely no leverage. Self-employed, the same. Rather than have a job, you own a job. Still trading your time and skill for currency. Starting over every day at zero. Whereas if you have a leveraged income as a business owner, you and additional people create income. When you step away, for whatever reason, the people there continue to work. You are leveraging persons in the employee quadrant to acquire and maintain your income. You are leveraging their time and effort. An investor. The investor depends on passive residual income. Passive as opposed to active. Even the business owner has activities to perform. The activities of the investor is research and due diligence. And your income is definitely not dependent on your presence, but dependent on your research. So name one subject you learned in school that you used to earn an income. Mathematics, biology, chemistry, physics, literature. What was garnered as important to get across? So as I said, that paper we move around with in our wallet, those cards, they are not money because they're affected by inflation. Let's take a look at the evolution of money. DCOW. What could that be? If I have a bottle of water, someone has some beans, let's say coffee beans. Once there's a double coincidence of wants, DCOW, that they want what I have and I want what they have, we make a trade. If they don't, I keep looking. Until a double coincidence of wants is acquired. In this simple example, let's say I want the corn. We have a double coincidence of wants. And just to make it easier, the guy with the beans on top trade with the guys with the beans below. And that was the problem with that so-called barter system. Education says that the barter system was ages ago. And we still barter our time and effort for a paper square with a serial number printed on it. It could be literal paper, fiat currency, or it could just be bits and bytes, numbers in a machine that you spend with a card. Then there was commodity money. One example was gold. But always, the authorities would find a way to take value more out of the people in as invisible a manner as possible. So when coins were made with commodity money, gold, silver, bronze, eventually they were debased by adding less precious metals to them. And so, money evolved. When you look at literal coins, the majority of coins are round, circular in nature. Until you get to some Roman coins. There was a point in time in Rome where you had to bring in your coins for Caesar to tax. And to tax it, Caesar would cut off ends of your coins. And those cut pieces were placed into a vat, melted down, reminted into new coins. So, when the people got onto that gimmick, money had to evolve once again. And it evolved into what we presently know. However, it was backed by a commodity. This paper is a gold certificate and therefore can still be called money. It is redeemable, or at least was, because it's no longer in circulation, $20 in gold coin payable to the bearer on demand. This was a gold certificate. But in 1971, US President Richard Nixon paper of the gold standard. Because they were so busy printing. And as I said, the authorities always find a way to get more for less in that exchange for your time, your freedom, and your skills. And this time it was down to the world because America was the reserve currency of the world after World War II because America got into World War II late. When there is war, it's a problem to print sufficient currency, to purchase equipment, to pay troops. So in war, real gold is reverted to be able to build and maintain the machinery of war. So in 1971, paper, gold certificates were taken off and no longer backed by that gold. So we have been existing with fiat currency. And instead of exchangeable for gold, this fiat currency is for all debts, public and private. Fiat currency is a debt-based currency. We'll get more to that as we go along. Then we came into plastic cards. Because the gimmick of fiat was being observed. So less fiat in your pocket. One card could hold quite a lot of fiat. And now we have the new kid on the block. Bitcoin and the Bitcoin white paper was presented approximately 180 days after the crash of Lehman Brothers back in 2008. The subprime lending scandal involving real estate in the US. Lehman Brothers, based on its size, bought down the house and bought down and compromised other lending institutions with it because of its sheer size. The too big to fail adage. So, Bitcoin, being the prototype, Dr. Ruja Ignatova decided to create an archetype. The One. You are here to learn about the One, to understand the One, for you have one life. There are things going on this planet that we have very little cognizance of. We are supposed to be searching, seeking continuously. It is said in certain movements, activist movements, that the price of freedom is eternal struggle. If you have no idea who the World Economic Forum is, they have been meeting since the 1970s. Annual meetings in Davos, Switzerland. And this year, 2020, they met in January, before the lockdown. What is the World Economic Forum? The World Economic Forum was founded in 1971, kind of coincidentally, the same year that the US dollar was taken off the gold standard, and is an NGO based in Cologne, Geneva, Switzerland. The mission is cited as committed to improving the state of the world by engaging business, political, academic, and other leaders of society to shape global, regional, and industrial agendas. You be the judge of how well they have attained that goal since 1971. The World Economic Forum is a membership-based organization, and its membership is made up of the world's largest corporations. Microsoft, Procter & Gamble, just calling a few off the top of my head, banks. The World Economic Forum hosts an annual meeting at the end of January in Davos, a mountain resort in Graubünden in the Eastern Alps region of Switzerland. The meeting brings together some 3,000 business leaders, international political leaders, economists, celebrities, and journalists for up to 5 days to discuss global issues. Jumping back to that word, celebrities. Across 500 public and private sessions, the organization also convenes some 6 to 8 regional meetings each year in locations across Africa, East Asia, Latin America, and India, and holds 2 further annual meetings in China and the United Arab Emirates. Besides meetings, the organization provides a platform for leaders from all stakeholder groups from around the world, business, government, and civil society to collaborate. It also produces a series of reports and engages its members in sector-specific initiatives. We need to see what is not being said. We are not the stakeholders. It will obviously be the world's largest corporations, business leaders, international political leaders, economists, celebrities, and journalists. Those will be the stakeholders. And they are invited to collaborate on multiple projects and initiatives. Could be going on in your country. Could be going on right now. Stakeholders for a cohesive and sustainable world. This is 2020. The World Economic Forum annual meeting is the foremost creative force for engaging the world's top leaders in collaborative activities to shape the global, regional, and industrial agendas at the beginning of each year. To shape the global, regional, and industry agendas at the beginning of each year. It will bring together 3,000 participants from around the world and aim to give concrete meaning to stakeholder capitalism. Assist governments and international institutions in tracking progress towards the Paris Agreement, carbon footprint, and the Sustainable Development Goals, and facilitate discussions on technology and trade governance. The biggest topic at Davos for the last few years has been this.
For the last 2-3 centuries, there is always this fear the machines are taking over.
I don't think anyone can irresponsibly say, oh, don't worry, nothing will happen to jobs.
This time it might be true.
The world's people say they're not overly anxious about technology. They are deeply, deeply anxious about their jobs.
AI will impact jobs. But we don't know what's going to come. We don't even know what new inventions are going to be.
To reinvent yourself when you're 20, it's difficult, but you do it. To do it again at 30, at 40, at 50, that's very high levels of anxiety.
But so what are we left to do then?
What are we left to do then?
It's easy to imagine the predicted 66 million people poised to lose their jobs to machines, muttering the same refrain. The OECD, the intergovernmental organization that came up with that figure, estimates that 14% of jobs could be automated in industrialized countries. And though machines are most immediately coming after manufacturing and agricultural jobs, even work requiring more specialized skills could increasingly fall to automation. Goldman Sachs' chief financial officer reported that their US cash equities trading desk employed some 600 traders back in 2000. All but 2 of those positions had become automated by 2017. In these increasingly uncertain times, we ask the experts, what jobs will be created and what jobs will disappear?
There'll be some disintegration and some creation of jobs.
50 years ago, we could not have thought of software engineering as a job. Today, the whole Silicon Valley is full of that labor force.
First, obviously, it will create AI jobs, right? People who program AI, people who fix robots. But in terms of quantity, it's a very, very small quantity.
We will see jobs more related to interaction with intelligent machines,
where it's symbiotic between the man and machine. The human can do things that the machine cannot do, and together they do it better.
freeing labor from dangerous, repetitive work.
I suggest every professional, whether you're a lawyer, accountant, think about tools that emerge and how that makes you 2, 3, 4 times stronger, better, and richer for that matter.
People talk so much about replacing humans, but I think the goals of AI machines should be actually more assistive.
But to be really honest, professional jobs are still a small proportion of the total jobs.
To a large extent, blue-collar jobs will be replaced by machinery.
Bank teller, receptionists, customer service, drivers, and even radiologists, relatively high-end, more complex jobs are going to eventually get replaced over the next 15 to 20 years. The routine job replacement is huge.
Humanity has seen this over and over again. Every industrial revolution is a huge disruption of jobs.
I think it easily accounts for half of our jobs. Different people have different views about whether these half of the jobs will take 10 years or maybe 30 years or 40 years to be replaced. But even 40 years is faster than industrial revolution.
The experts agree that though technology has disrupted the nature of work in the past, at no point in history has the transformation been so rapid and extensive. And that speed means workers must stay nimble and continue learning new skills throughout their working lives.
I think that there will be new jobs. The big question is whether people will be able to reinvent themselves to fill these jobs.
But what if they can't? Stay nimble and keep learning.
The difficulty would be if you're in the same routine type of environment for 20, 25 years, and suddenly you're told it's not available anymore. Go and learn something entirely new. Well, that's the case. It's the most difficult case. That's where governments have an important role to play.
If a job is going to be lost, what's the support for the worker to make sure they have skills and redeployment support?
You need to provide a kind of training program. And the big question there is who pays for this training program and who provides it? Provision at the company level, funding shared by the company and the state.
Full employment is still at the heart of our communities, the dignity of work, the cohesion that brings social stability, and we need to plan for that.
Because of
So we pause there. 66 million jobs predicted to be lost to automation. The finance desk spoken about had 600 traders in the year 2000. 17 years later, in 2017, they had 2 traders. In 2018, 71% human. 2022, 58% human. That's 2 years from now. And 2025, 5 years from now, it's expected to be almost even. or the machine, of course, having the edge. Automation. One thing's for sure, we're going to need new skills. Study after study shows that while technology will alter many roles directly, it's also set to have indirect effects. As demand for mathematics, computing, and data analysis grows, so too will the need for human attributes like creativity, critical thinking, persuasion, and negotiation. But it's not just workers who need to worry about upgrading their skills. Companies too are seeking out ways to appeal to a new generation of workers. Millennials and Generation Z will be the majority of the workforce in 2020. And we are in 2020. And they're already reshaping the relationship between employer and employee. Younger workers are looking for more decentralized environments where they can decide how work gets done. Are we warming up? Work from home? As we acquire new skills, we'll also need to unlearn some old ones. Specifically, everyone must ask themselves, how do we disrupt our outdated ways of doing things? How do we challenge ourselves to deviate from conventional business practice? And if the research is right, and twice as many new jobs are about to emerge than were lost, then how worried should we really be? And how much can we say we know about the coming age of technological unemployment? It's true that technological change is happening faster than before. Just look at the graphic that was shown before. But while we know technology is a part of our future, we don't know how large a role it will play, nor what role we will play in it. As the videos say, blue-collar jobs will be replaced by machines. Rising automation, new skills to see us through, and can the workplace become more flexible and inclusive? I ask again, are we being trained to change how we work with this COVID-19, coronavirus, work from home, school from home? By now, we have all heard the statistic in the next 5 years, more than half of all workplace tasks will be performed by machines. Many jobs as we know them will cease to exist. From the days when Luddites smashed looms in pre-industrial Britain to our current worries concerning artificial intelligence. The Luddites were persons who decided to destroy looms, to weave cotton and silk, etc., because they were losing their jobs. And at that time, they were middle class. Our middle class barely exists now. Education technology is exploding, expected to reach $342 billion in 2025. Learning through play has a critical role in education and preparing children for challenges and opportunities ahead. Learning through play. What is real and what is not? Creating a playful learning environment with technology can tap into children's natural ability to learn through play and develop the rapid learning skills essential today. My question is, how much of this are you, if this is your first time in this call, are you aware of? There are so many organizations on this planet making decisions that affect you in very personal ways. The World Economic Forum has launched an initiative to provide 1 billion people with better education, skills, and jobs by 2030. 1 billion. This planet presently has over 7 billion people. Understand what is being said. hold it in context in what is happening today. The fourth industrial revolution is expected to transform 1/3 of all jobs in the next decade. How do we build more social cohesion? How do we ensure that people have pathways to social mobility? One of the most important ways to do that is to ensure that people have the right to education. The right to education. Understand that this is the creation or the potential creation of a new 1%. In the next 2 years, by 2022, so as I said, this was done in January this year, 42% of core skills required to perform existing jobs. 42% of core skills required to perform existing jobs are expected to change. In addition to high-tech skills, specialized interpersonal skills will be in high demand, including skills related to sales, human resources, care and education. In the One Academy, in OneLife, One Academy is the heart of the company. And the watchwords in One Academy is learn today, lead tomorrow. Skills related to sales, human resources, care and education. So in the midst of this COVID pandemic, the world is facing a reskilling emergency. More than 1 billion jobs, almost 1/3 of all jobs worldwide, are likely to be transformed. At the same time, economic and demographic shifts are putting additional pressure on the workforces of today. As we enter a new decade, one that the United Nations and others have called the decade of delivery for important transitions to a more sustainable world. We must also focus on achieving equitable, inclusive progress to equip and enable the world's people to thrive in jobs of the future. We have had historical warnings, even about the money we deal with. So many warnings that we refuse to pay attention to. The most hated sort of moneymaker, and with the greatest reason, is usury, which makes a gain out of money itself and not from the natural object of it. For money was intended to be used in exchange, but not to increase at interest. Money was intended to be used in exchange, but not to increase at interest. And this term interest, which means the birth of money from money, is applied to the breeding of money because the offspring resembles the parent. Wherefore, of modes of getting wealth, this is the most unnatural. How old is this warning? More than 300 years BC. And we are still here, for we have not taken notice. This gentleman as well, who was well-to-do, because he is Henry Ford, the Ford automobile. It is well enough that people of the nation do not understand our banking and monetary system. For all they did, I believe there would be a revolution before tomorrow morning. Understand our banking and monetary system. In other words, the withholding of education. The onus of education is on you. That is why the One Academy is here. There is a demand for this education. That's why we are here. Josiah Stamp was on the board of governors of the Bank of England. Banking was conceived in iniquity and born in sin. John Maynard Keynes, one of the gentlemen responsible for much of this present-day economic system called capitalism. Historical warnings. As a OneLife IMA, I am sounding a warning once again. Do your due diligence. And do it untiringly, because in the words of Bob Marley, the people who are trying to make this world worse are not taking the day off. Why should I? We need to work with each other. We need to educate each other using the instrument of the One Academy. You want to be a good welder? You need to study welding. You need to practice welding. You want to be financially free? The same applies. Keep learning. Keep working. So at the One Academy, we educate about money and financial instruments. And as I said, this is not to be construed as a financial lecture. This is an educational lecture, because OneLife is an educational company. So we educate about money and financial instruments. Some are embarrassed to admit that their knowledge of finances are limited. Some pretend that they know it all. Some are just too laid back to learn. Some say it's a scam based on uninformed reports. And this is courtesy an IMA, a merchant in the deal shaker, Jambi of Simply Gems, Crafty Handiworks. Anyone who decides to say this is a scam without being here is uninformed. Simply ask them, what is money? Or answer any question off of the One Academy, and you'll realize they're still confused about money. Looking for your scam? There it is. Still confused about money. That is your scam. For you have been scammed so long, you can no longer recognize it in its true form. Remember the encyclopedia salesman? Well, at least if you're old enough, encyclopedia salesperson used to walk around the neighborhood, choose a neighborhood, walk around, and use their selling skills to prompt parents to purchase encyclopedias for their family. Those encyclopedias did not directly provide any financial knowledge, so it took your finance without giving you the ability to replace those finances. Replacing those finances, you had to figure that out yourself and choose a quadrant: employee, self-employed, business owner, investor. So it's time to recycle your generations. For we, the OneLife Network IMAs, are here to provide you with a solution to cease the cycle of poverty. This knowledge is for generations to come. And know that you don't know. Who is a wise person? When you stumble across something new, wow, that's interesting. I challenge you to ask yourself the next question. What else do I not know? So is a wise person someone who knows and applies a wide range of skills? This does not of itself make them wise. They're just properly trained, and they train themselves for a while. What makes a person truly wise is they realize there is much that they still need to learn, and therefore search for knowledge to apply continually. Your true wealth is your time and freedom. Money is simply a tool for trading your time. It's a container to store your economic energy until you are ready to deploy it. The whole world has been turned away from real money and been fooled into using currency. The Hidden Secrets of Money, Mike Maloney, is the very start of that video. This is narrative. Know that real money is your time and your freedom. What else can I learn? When do I get the time to learn it? Right now you're in lockdown. Learn something new. Learn something new. So welcome to the rabbit hole. How deep does it go? Fractional reserve banking. This is in direct contrast to full reserve banking. In days gone by, banks were separate. You had a deposit bank where you can just put in money and take back out money. Nothing else. And of course, that is many, many years ago. Middle to late 1800s. Probably even longer than that. Because people didn't really take loans. Businesses took loans. So the loans would be acquired at the merchant bank. Because you didn't need to get a new refrigerator because that did not properly exist as yet. But someone took this deposit bank and this merchant bank and put them together and gave you a commercial bank. And therein began our woes. The fractional reserve banking cycle. Deposit 1,000 at a 10% reserve system. Hold back 100, representing that 1,000, and the other 900 is loaned out. Person loaned has 900, spends it. So right now there's 1,900. Because on the books, that person deposited 1,000, and this guy just spent 900. Person receiving that 900 puts it into a bank. As it's 900 at a 10% reserve capacity, you hold 90, loan out 810. 810. So now there's 2,710 in the system. The bank only has $190. That 810 is spent and that person puts it in the bank. There's a reserve of 81 for that 810 at a 10% reserve and loan 729. At this point, there's $3,439 in the system, while the bank has only $271. And remember that each loan has interest attached to it. Usury.
The gap between the very richest and the rest of us is getting bigger. Why? A common belief is that it's good for us all if a small group of people earn an enormous amount of money. The theory is that their wealth trickles down to the rest of us. But this is a myth. In reality, money is sucked up from all of us into the pockets of a very small group of people. How does this happen? One reason is the way that money is created. Right now, almost all of the money in our economy is created by banks when they make loans. Now, most people assume that when banks make loans, they're lending out someone else's savings. But they're not. Instead, when somebody takes out a loan, banks create new money electronically by typing numbers into their account. 97% of all the money in our economy is created in this way, as people take out loans from banks. The more loans people take, the more debt there is, and the more money there is. The shocking fact is, if nobody went into debt, there would be almost no money in the economy. Our economy depends on the electronic money created by banks. But because the money is created when people borrow, someone, somewhere, has to pay interest on every pound created. In effect, we are renting the money we need to run our economy from the banks. This means that in the UK alone, together we pay the banks £192 million in interest every single day. And because the debt is held mostly by the bottom 90% and wealth mostly by the top 10%, paying this interest transfers money from the bottom 90% of the population to the very top 10%. It sucks wealth and income from the rest of us up to the very lucky few. So as long as we have to rent the money we use from the banks that create it, we'll have to keep paying this huge interest bill, and the gap between the richest and the rest of us will keep increasing.
I think if the people knew what the banking system is up to, as Henry Ford said, there would be a revolution tomorrow morning. The fact is, most people think that what a bank does is lend you money that someone else has put in the bank previously. But what a bank actually does, what a commercial bank does, is to create money from nothing and then lend it to you at interest. If I do that, if I manufacture money in my own home, it's called counterfeiting. If an accountant creates money out of nothing in the company accounts, it's called cooking the books. But if a bank does it, it's perfectly legal. And so long as you allow fraud to be legalized, then all kinds of problems are going to pop up in the economic system, which you can't do.
All types of problems will pop up in the system. $192 million in interest every day. So we jump now to the central bank. Quantitative easing of QE. This is engineered confusion. Quantitative easing is a form of an unconventional monetary policy. This from Investopedia, in which a central bank purchases longer-term securities from the open market in order to increase the money supply, blah, 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 blah. As the gentleman just said, they create money from nothing. They quickly increase the domestic money supply and spur economic activity. It usually involves the country's central bank purchasing longer term, and they go back into the rhetoric. In response to the economic shutdown caused by the COVID-19 pandemic on March 15, 2020, the US Federal Reserve announced a quantitative easing program that amounted to over $700 billion. In fact, it is over $6 trillion. Question. I hope this question keeps you up tonight, so you can go back into all those historical warnings and understand that I'm warning you once again tonight. Understand that you have been duped. So I'm looking to close off at this point. So let me tell you about OneLife. The goal of OneLife, OneCoin, and the entire One ecosystem is to become the #1 cryptocurrency in the world. And we can do this through usability, expansion, market capitalization, not via Forex trading. We are designed for regulation and not speculation. The OneCoin blockchain is the first blockchain to store KYC documents on its own blockchain. So information is in the block when you do a transaction. OneLife, One Academy, One Forex, SuperTED, the One World Foundation. All these are our arms. One Academy Learning, One Forex speaks for itself. SuperTED is for children from the age 5. Recycle your generation. And the One World Foundation is our charitable arm. Over 800,000 euros in donations so far. Deal shaker. The practical arm. As was said, one of the skills that would be needed is the skill of being able to sell. Always an important skill to add on will always be law. So our core product is the One Academy, the heart of our company. It is an innovative e-learning platform covering a broad range of financial topics, including trading, the stock exchange, cryptocurrency, financial analysis, asset management, and even more. Our mission is to provide our students, you and the person who invited you, or students, with the guidance and educational materials they need to achieve financial literacy. So as I said, OneLife facilitates education. All this training and education was developed by financial experts and academics. One Academy is highly structured and easy to understand. You learn at your own pace, and you can get to be a part of the future of this financial reset that we are experiencing due to COVID. The deal shaker, sales on your products, and this is time sensitive. The earlier the better. Because back in 2015, it took just 5 tokens to create 1 coin. Then you need to have discussions with the person who invited you here. Just 3 years later, it took 207 tokens. Now it takes over 400 tokens. Our legal courses in our One Academy. And this, to me, is one of the ultimate historical warnings. Before his death, President Andrew Jackson was asked what he regarded as his greatest achievement, and without hesitation replied, "I killed the bank." You have to create your own value. No one can create your value for you. So Dr. Ruja Ignatova gave us a platform to understand our value, to learn finance, and to implement our learning all in one. A true visionary. So of course there's a free account. We have our starters or traders, and right now we have a promotion going on. This is my epiphany. Pleasure must be offset by pain. Saying of Dr. M.K.Z. York. All we have to do is stand up. But standing up requires education. It takes change. So, pleasure must be offset by pain. Study. Put that work in, and the pleasure will surely come. So I leave you with this critical piece of information. It's an extremely important piece of information. This is information that must not be missed. Because whoever invited you here definitely considered you. And know that it was not just time to save you, but to save your generations. I thank you, and I hand you back to my able-bodied host, Mr. Wayne Wilson.
Wow, wow. Thank you, Kester. So ladies and gentlemen, especially those of you who are here for the first time, I promised you information, and I hope you did get that. Remember, you can get back to the person who invited you to this call tonight to get more information. And we are going to be doing day number 56 tomorrow, same time, right? So invite somebody else. You can get clarification on how to do that, same way you were invited. But I just want to share one thing before we go, and it came out of Kes's presentation, and it spoke to the people who are supporting this debt-based system that has brought us to the point where we are today. Don't take a day off. And I'm saying to us, why should we? So I want to thank everyone for coming on the call tonight. And definitely, we will be here again tomorrow. So you can come back, as I said, at the same time. Please be safe. Remember, if you have to go out, wear your mask, wash your hands, be safe. So a pleasant good night to all.